Good afternoon, everyone. Gosh, it's so nice to see so many of you joining us today virtually. I know that we would have loved to have been in person, but so glad that we still have the capability to come together and meet and share information. But before we get started, we're going to just go over just a few housekeeping items. We'll get those up on the slide. And I won't run through them all, but I'll just kind of highlight them. We have put everybody on mute just so that we can make sure that everybody can hear the speakers. We are recording the webinar today, and then we'll be sending that out. And then also we'll be sharing some instructions on how just to make sure your viewing screen, you guys can see everything because we don't want anything hidden. And then also typically when we meet and do these, we're actually in person, which also offers an opportunity to network. But because we're virtually, please feel free, and I invite you to share in the chat box who all, as far as organizations, are represented today. So please feel free to do that. We'll go over the agenda just quickly. We will hear from we'll hear some welcomes here in just a little bit. We'll give you a brief overview of United Way, and then we'll do a deep dive into the campaign headquarters, which will really give you guys insight into the tools and resources that will be available. And then we'll have an open dialogue session where we'll be able to hear from others as far as insights and best practices, and then also answer any questions you might have. So with that, we also want to be respectful of everybody's time. So we'll get started. It's my pleasure to introduce to you our President and CEO of United Way of the Midlands, Shauna Forsberg.
All right, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Great pleasure to see all of you. I'm very, very grateful for to see so many different organizations here. Want to make sure, are the slides still up? I'm not seeing them. Are we good? Okay, sorry. There we go. I thought you'd enjoy seeing how many great organizations we have represented here today. We really know at United Way that the only way we can be successful with campaign is each of you and your passionate support within each of your organizations. And so our goal for today is that you'll walk away feeling like you have the resources and tools that you need to be successful this year. I also want to assure you the United Way team has your back. You've got a great team in our donor engagement group, and they are here to help you. So take away today what you think may work in your organizations, but also know that you've got a great team here at United Way that's willing to help out. And I have to tell you, this is the year to step up. COVID has really brought a lot of challenges to our community. And so I'm going to ask you to forward the slide for me here. Just want to give you an idea here of why this year is so critical. When COVID hit the community back in March, that the impact was dramatic, but it's continuing to be dramatic. In the country right now, 1 out of 3 Americans took a pay cut or have been laid off. And since the pandemic, we've really seen high unemployment levels. It was in double digits here in Omaha, Council Bluffs region recently, and it's still around 6 to 7%. And so what that's really caused for us is that we've got many, many more people that are struggling. We kind of call that group of people newly in need. They've really never had to ask for help before. And we're really, really being taxed as far as the number of people that need assistance. And so we want to be there for them. And we're really grateful to all of you to help us with that. So I'll have you go to the next slide for me. I want to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're seeing. For those of you that may not know, our United Way here actually has a 211 call center, which was you literally dial 211, and it's a help referral line that connects people to resources. We serve the entire state of Nebraska and significant portions of Iowa. And since the pandemic has hit, we've had more than 60,000 requests come in. That's about 142% increase over the year before. And when you consider last year, our region was dealing with flooding and that the increase in calls was up 100% at that time, it just showcases how many more people are struggling right now. Thought you'd find of interest the types of calls that we're receiving. So 29% of the calls we get right now are people that are looking for rental or mortgage assistance because they've lost their jobs and they're trying to figure out how to hold on to their homes. 25% are dealing with utility assistance, trying to figure out how to pay their utility bills. 11% are calling in about healthcare. And of course, with COVID and right out of the gate, we had a really high spike in the number of health calls that we had, wondering how to get tested and where. But now we're also seeing a lot of calls around mental health, and people are struggling and wanting to get some resources. And then another area, of course, and you've seen it on TV, we've had a lot of calls around where can I get access to healthy food. So that just gives you an idea of the types of things that we're seeing and why raising money right now is so critical. So for those of us that can do it, we really want to jump in. Also, if you can please go to the next slide for me. I wanted to give you a little bit of background as well. Our United Way has been serving the Omaha Council Bluffs region for 97 years, and our whole goal is to help everyone. We've really been funding critical programs at the forefront of social injustice issues. And as you know, that's an area that we have work to do. And so we're honored to also provide critical funding to programs like the Empowerment Network, the Urban League, and the Latino Center, just to name three that really are on the forefront of this work. So I think you can be really proud of where your dollars will be going for those that invest through United Way. And so I'll wrap this up by saying, you can go to the next slide for me, Rach. It's really more important than ever for us to jump in. We're seeing lots of challenges every day in the calls that we have. And quite frankly, too, our agencies are reporting to us that in many cases, they've doubled in the number of people reaching out to them to need assistance. So with that, we feel incredibly fortunate this year to have the leadership of Clark and Emily Lauritsen. Clark is the CEO and president of First National Bank here in town. And I cannot express enough how much he and the team at FNBO have jumped in and assisted us this year. Both he and Emily are incredibly astute and knowledgeable people about the community, but they care deeply and have set very high goals for what we're going to accomplish here, and are here with us today to share their thoughts and strategies around the campaign. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Clark and Emily.
Thanks, Shauna. Emily and I are in different locations today in the pandemic appropriate social distancing. So Emily, you want to start, and then I'll go ahead after that.
Sure. I just want to say hi and thank you to everybody for taking the time and for all the hard work you're putting in on this year's campaign. It really means a lot to us and to everyone in the community. The need has never been greater, and so we just really appreciate all the time that you're putting into this. I wish we could all be together and get to meet you all in person, but sign of the times, I guess.
Yeah. Let me maybe just say a few things about the evolution of this campaign. Shauna, I think you teed it up well. But if you go all the way back to March, when I think things really changed globally, early on, there was even a conversation I had at one point with someone who said, can we even have a campaign given everything that's going on? And then the conversation evolved to, yeah, we can have a campaign, but it's going to be significantly less than in years past. And now as we're kind of getting into it, and Emily and I are spending a lot of time calling people and talking to companies and donors and employees, I think we're growing more optimistic by the day around what this campaign can accomplish. And I think part of it has to do with Omaha. This is sort of the times when Omaha really steps up, and people in Omaha know the need is great and they're willing to do what it takes. And part of it is, I think a lot of people have adjusted their lives and their companies and their organizations, but they haven't adjusted their commitment to the United Way. So I've talked to now dozens of CEOs around Omaha, and consistently what I'm hearing on these calls is our company's really committed to the United Way. We consider it an essential service in the community. The United Way is very present in my company, amongst my employees. It's a tradition. It's one we're passionate about. You know, so the brand of the United Way, which is extremely valuable, has never probably been more valuable than right now, when we need people to remember the United Way and need them to commit to it. And I think everyone understands, obviously, that the need is great. So I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to beat our goals for this campaign. And I don't know by how much, but I think it's going to be better than we think at this point. I will say, you as campaign managers are probably as important as ever this year as well, because what we're hearing consistently on the calls is companies really need help with creativity. They can't be physically with their employees at events. They can't see their employees in person the way they used to. And that presents a challenge, but an opportunity at the same time. And Jill, I know you and the team have got some incredible ideas, and we do as well at the bank, and other companies do. But I think the real challenge and opportunity for us this year is, how do we creatively motivate and collectively gather people in an era where we can't right now have a lot of events. And so I would just encourage you not only to be creative, but to the extent you have an idea, to the extent you see something that's working, share it with the staff, share it with your peers, because that's probably what's in most demand right now. So thank you very much for everything you're doing. We'll keep working hard, and I know you will. And we're just grateful for the time and effort you're putting forth in a difficult time for our country broadly. So thank you. Shauna, Jill, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Clark and Emily. Hello, everybody. My name is Brayton Higgy, and I'm the Manager of Communications here at United Way of the Midlands. Today, I just want to give you a quick overview of our organization, so that way you're equipped to answer any questions that you may receive during your campaign this year. So United Way of the Midlands has been committed to bringing together community partners to help those in need for 97 years now, whether that's helping them through everyday struggles or recessions, natural disasters, or the current pandemic. We know that before COVID-19, we already had more than 100,000 people living in poverty right here in the Omaha, Council Bluffs metro. And now, as Shauna and Clark mentioned, COVID-19 has created an entirely new demographic, one that we are calling the newly in need. We also know that social injustices are continuing to impact the physical, mental, and financial health of many of our community members. So we know it's hard for just one person, one company, or one nonprofit to tackle all these challenges that our neighbors are facing right now. So that's why we approach poverty in a very specific way, what we call a united way. And we know that united starts with each and every one of you. And you will actually see the you theme reflected in our messaging this year because of that. We know we need to work together with you, with other nonprofits, with companies, because together we can really move that needle and make the biggest impact. So now, what does this look like? Well, when somebody makes a donation to United Way of the Midlands, we invest that gift in more than 100 nonprofit programs that form a circle of support for people in need. So that circle is helping our neighbors access basic need supports. So those are things like healthy food, health services, housing, and our 211 helpline, which actually connects people in need who call or text to local services and resources that can help. That's also helping with education supports. So that circle of support education is a key component as well. These include things like mentoring, out of school time programs, early childhood education programs, and more. And then finally, the third piece of that circle is financial stability supports. So things like asset development, job training, finance classes, and more. So we know that somebody who needs food might also struggle with mental health or job stability. So with access to this entire circle of supports, we know our neighbors are better equipped to tackle multiple challenges at once and then get back on their feet during difficult times. So now on this slide, you'll actually see a visual representation of the difference somebody makes in our community when they support United Way. So we know when somebody is joining hands with 40,000 other donors, 600 organizations, and 9,000 some volunteers, change really does happen. And as you can see, during an 18-month time span, people like you help change more than 240,000 lives, which is really amazing. So this same visual is actually available in our campaign headquarters, which we're going to walk through in just a minute. So if you want to share this out in your organization to kind of demonstrate that impact, feel free to do so. Now on the next slide, you'll see our UWM at a glance visual. We know that our donors really are looking for a trusted partner who helps them make a difference. So we wanted to share with you just how we make the most out of each and every gift that we get. So first of all, we are community-wide focused. So this means to determine how to invest your donation, we are assessing which needs are most pressing and then which ones are going unseen or unmet. So this allows us to adapt our response to meet rapidly shifting community needs during times like these. And actually our current community investments are a good example of this. This spring, we shortened our traditional 2-year grant cycle to a 1-year grant cycle. So that way we could adapt to the immediate needs right now, and then we can reassess those needs in 1 year's time. And then we also prioritize funding for agencies that were immediately responding to the pandemic. And then later on, we'll be able to make another round of investments based on community needs. Secondly, I want to talk about our efficiency. So we meet the Better Business Bureau standards for nonprofit efficiency, meaning we are keeping our costs low and investing more of your dollar back into local nonprofit programs. We are investing 93 cents of every dollar back, and then we will continue to strive to keep our overhead rate below 10%. Thirdly, we are impact driven. So each of the nonprofit programs I mentioned earlier have been evaluated through what we call our community investment review team process. So during this process, local volunteers, just like you, get together with experts to evaluate local nonprofit programs that submit grant applications, and then they make funding recommendations to our board. So that way our donors know that their donations are funding programs that have been vetted and are going to make the biggest impact in our community. And finally, we are results-based. So throughout our grant cycles, we are collecting results from the programs we fund, and then that way we can measure that impact and share it back out with you. That concludes my part of the presentation, but if you have any questions about anything I shared, please go ahead and pop them up in the chat, and then I will go ahead and answer them for you. And now I am going to hand it over to my colleague, Kylie. She's the manager of digital here at United Way, and she is going to walk you through our campaign headquarters.
Hey everybody, Kylie here. Thanks for joining us. I'm super pumped to show you our campaign headquarters site. We put a ton of work into it, so hopefully it has a bunch of tools that you guys find useful. Before I show it to you, I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about our theme this year, which is the power of you. You are all superheroes who are making a huge difference in changing the lives of people in need in our metro. The work you are doing is truly amazing. It's so vital, especially now. And our team is we're really here for you this year to help you get that work done. So traditionally, these workshops were in person, which Jill kind of mentioned earlier, took place over the course of an afternoon. So what we've tried to do this year is put everything that we would have covered into our headquarters website. That includes presentations from companies who would share what they've learned and offer advice. That way, all that info is on the website for you to access on demand whenever you need it. I'm excited to be able to share the site with you because we know that campaigns are going to look different this year, but we're here to help. But because of that, we really beefed up the page to offer as much info and resources. There's a lot on there, so I'm not going to talk through everything in detail, but I'm going to walk you through every section so that you know what all is there. And I'm going to call out specific things that we think will be helpful or that we're offering that's new. After I go through the site, we're going to end the webinar with a Q&A. So if you have any questions, you're curious where to find something, you can enter that into the chat. or ask it out loud during that session, and we'll answer those questions for you. So with that, I'm going to start by showing you how to access the headquarters. I'm just taking control of the screen really quick. So from our homepage, 2 different places you can find it. You scroll down, you're going to look for a yellow rectangle that stretches across the page right here, campaign headquarters. You can just click that button, success starts here. You can also go to our menu. See if this will hover for me. I'm going to have to click it. Oops. Okay, campaign headquarters right there. Go ahead and click that. Okay, cool. So welcome. We're all here. Before I scroll through everything, I just wanted to point out this menu that we added. There's a bunch of different drop downs. So as you get familiar and you kind of know what you're looking for, hopefully this makes it a little easier to navigate through. With social distancing, working remotely, struggling economy, we know campaigns are going to look different. We're here to help you plan and execute the type of campaign that makes the most sense for your organization. And we are so, so grateful for your support of local families in need during this difficult time. It really means so much. So thank you all again. Special thanks as well to Clark and Emily and the FNBO team. You guys rock. You are so awesome. Thanks for your support. It's been really, really helpful. So to start, we're going to go to Steps for Success. This is for those of you who might be new to running a campaign. Maybe you just need a refresher. This is a step-by-step guide to get you started from start to finish. So I think we have 7 steps in here. Just something brief to get you started planning and thinking. We also put info about our upcoming webinar here. So if you have team members who aren't able to hop on today, we have one coming up on the 17th. That'll be our last one. So they can sign up from this page. Training. This has video presentations from amazing corporate partners like your own. Some of you are actually on here right now. You guys rock. Who have incredible insights to share about what they've learned running campaigns, how to better engage employees, take your campaign to the next level, and more. So this is new. Traditionally, we would have these people come and speak in person. So what we've asked them to do is just share a video with their learnings so that these are here whenever you need. Kind of depending on how much time you have, you can see how long each of them are. I just want to thank each and one of these speakers so much for sharing your wisdom. These videos are awesome. They really are. So I highly recommend to take a few minutes out of your day and watch them. You'll take away some really good stuff. I'm going to call out this button here, download videos. We know due to security and maybe some regulations in your company, you can't access YouTube, which is what these videos are through. So if you click that button, you'll be able to download them onto your machine and share them out however you do that in your organization. Campaign ideas is next. This is the really good stuff. There are still fun ways to engage your team no matter where they're working from. So this section has a ton of different virtual and in-person fundraising ideas to help you get started and that you can modify to meet your needs and what your team likes. So I'm going to go through these accordions here. First, we're going to start with just some safety recommendations. If you are planning on having events in person, we just want you all to stay safe and healthy while you do amazing things to help our community. So make sure to look in here. Most of us are pretty familiar with that stuff, but just in case. Virtual ideas. We're super excited to be able to share these with you. Please take some time to look through them if you aren't sure where to start with your fundraising events this year, because this will definitely help you when you're brainstorming. You can determine what works for you, what you could modify, that sort of thing. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll scroll kind of slowly so you can maybe glance at them. Virtual tools. Most of us are getting pretty used to using tools like Zoom, which we're on today, but we wanted to call out some others that might be helpful. Some of these are like video meeting software. I am going to call out on here Mobile Cause. This is a virtual fundraising tool that we use to create custom donation forms, event pages, and text to give opportunities. And we want you to know that this is opened up to your team to utilize. As you can see here, We've worked with some really awesome local partners, including ConAgra, Valmont, OPPD, to create custom online fundraising opportunities for employees. Benefits of this are handling less cash, which might be especially important for your team this year. You can more easily track dollars raised, and it offers just a really simple and convenient way for your team to give in the moment. So if this sounds interesting, please let your donor engagement representative know. You can click there to find their contact information. I'm gonna open this quick. This is something we added that is just an informational doc that gets into more of MobileCause and how it works. It has some visual examples of how text to give works. If you want to do a fundraising thermometer page, all that stuff's in here. So if you're interested, take some time to look through it and let your donor engagement rep know, and we'll get you hooked up. And then last on here, we have the classics in person. So we wanted to still include these because we know a lot of us are still going into the office. There are ways to still do this stuff while being safe and social distancing. So we wanted to include that here too. Something new this year is pick a partner. Our hope is that it can help make your campaign seamless, special. By working with our fundraising partners here, you can raise money for a good cause, support local business, and save yourself time and effort. So if you're looking for a fun way to switch up your campaign this year, this is it. So we've got Nothing Bundt Cakes, Biaggi's, Krispy Kreme, got a t-shirt fundraiser, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then down here, we also compiled some information about online auctions and how you might be able to do that if that's a big draw for your team. I'm gonna go ahead and click here. We're gonna look at Nothing Bundt Cakes. This page has a lot of the nitty-gritty details you might need to know about how the partnerships work so you can determine if it's gonna work for you. So that includes contact information for each partner, a description of the fundraiser, if there are different options to choose from, what that looks like, how it can be promoted, and some materials you can use to promote it internally. And then we also have financial stuff, all that good stuff. So from this page, you can see the details for every single pick a partner opportunity. So if you want to look through all of them, just keep on scrolling. I'm going to scroll down here to t-shirt fundraiser, which is new this year. We have 2 designs, as you can see. These come in 6 colors each. So you can go with your sport colors or branch out. When employees check out, there's the Shop Now button here if you guys want to explore that. When employees check out, they'll enter their company name. So we'll make sure that proceeds from this are attributed to your campaign. All right, let's keep on cruising. Materials and content. This includes print materials like our investment brochure and pledge forms. We've got some emails, digital materials like graphics, logos, videos. Hopefully it's everything you need to share with your team about United Way of the Midlands and how their gift makes a difference. You can also reach out to your donor engagement representative to get some of these materials too, because we do have printed pieces on hand as well. So I'm going to start by showing you the print materials page, just so you can see what all is in here. Our investment brochure is here, as well as our funded programs list. I know a lot of donors are really interested in that. We've got some table tents down here. If you are going into the office, that's this one. And then we have informational one-pagers about our 211 helpline if you want to learn about that. We've got our Affinity Groups, Women United, Emerging Leaders, and our initiatives, Opportunity Youth and Raise Me to Read. So those are just some easy digestible pieces that you can share with your team if they want to learn more. Something new we created this year, I'm just going to click on this so it kind of pops up, is a document that we're calling Framing the Need. So it really just shows with this pandemic how needs have changed and increased in our community, how much your help is needed, and how much of a difference that your assistance can make in the lives of people who are really struggling right now. And what else is on here? All right, we've got posters, if you're looking for that. And then finally, we've got pledge forms down here too. All right, and I pulled pledge forms out onto the main page too, just to make it a little easier to navigate to if that's what you're looking for. Digital materials, we've got several different things here, emails, success stories, images and graphics, our blog. We put together a PowerPoint for y'all to utilize this year and a videos page. So the email document has some copy and templates for you to use when communicating with your employees. That includes community needs statistics, success stories. So you can just drag and drop, use it as is, pull what you need from it, however you want to use it. Success stories, I'm gonna go ahead and open this one, is a PDF featuring stories from individuals and families in the Metro who have been through some really difficult circumstances, but with support from United Way donors, got the assistance they needed to build a better life. We found stories are one of the most powerful ways to communicate impact to your team and inspire them. So we recommend looking at this document as you start planning because these really are super moving. For example, right here, you can see we have some stories from our partner, Chad, or a Combined Health Agencies Drive, who has been a really strong partner of ours for many, many years. So we have some stories in here about that. These are all really inspirational and moving. So I recommend reading through them, sharing the ones that speak to you with your team, and finding ways to share them more broadly throughout your organization. All right, images and graphics. I'm gonna click on here and show you what all is on this page. I talked a little earlier about how our theme is the power of you. So if you think that that will resonate with your team, you like that visual, you can use these to help drive that home. These images can be used in email, on social, your intranet, and just print them out and post them in your space or place them in your own materials if you're creating your own. Stories in an image. These are just a smaller version of the success stories that I just showed you in that PDF. So again, you can post on social, print out, put in an email, whatever you like. Here, you may have noticed my background video or my background image earlier. We made some more fun video backgrounds. So I'm rocking the Power of You one. That one's my favorite. But we have 6 so far. We're probably gonna add some more, so we'll let you know once we get those up. But the idea here is this is just a fun way to show your United Way pride, even when you can't be together in person. Plus, if you have a messy background, you just throw one of these up and you're good. All right, graphics and logos. If you're making your own materials, feel free to download, drop these into whatever you're making. You can put them in a PowerPoint slide, and we've got logos here. Speaking of PowerPoints, we made a PowerPoint for you guys. I can't really open it here because it'll just download, but I think it has, I don't know, maybe 20 slides or more. And what it's for is for you to utilize during team presentations about United Way and your campaign. It's got a bunch of really helpful information and imagery, including a lot of the images that I just showed you on the images and graphics page. So if that's useful, you can download that, simply work off that file, kind of take what you need. So hopefully that saves some of you time if PowerPoint is something that you use during your campaigns. All right, videos. The good stuff. Okay, there's a bunch of videos on this page, so it might take a little bit to load. But we went ahead and just put all of our different videos, including the training videos I showed you earlier, onto one page to make it easier to navigate to what you need. Our agency partners helped us a ton with this and sent in videos explaining increased needs they're seeing due to COVID-19. So there's a lot of really impactful stories on here. For our partners who run pantries, for example, many of them are seeing needs double, triple, even quadruple during the pandemic. And families who are facing layoffs are struggling to put one of their most basic needs, food, on the table. So these COVID-19 videos do a really good job of just showing how this has impacted our community and how nonprofit partners have been able to respond and step up and assist. So if you're looking to learn more about that and share that with your team, that's in this section. Second, we have agency speaker videos. Some of you may have worked with our nonprofit partners before to have an agency representative come out and speak to your team. They might share the needs in our community, how your gift makes a difference. With COVID, this is going to be a little trickier this year. So we asked our partners to make a video featuring what they would normally present in person. But please know if you do want in-person speakers, we can still absolutely arrange that. So just let us know. Got a bunch of these here, more to come. This third section, we've listed the training videos again, just so all of those are kind of on one page. And then lastly, we have some United Way community videos that speak to needs in our community. They share some success stories too. So for any of these videos on this page, you can send them to your team, play them at an event, use them however works best for you. You probably noticed in each section I have that download videos button again. If you aren't able to access YouTube, you can grab all of them from here. All right. Go to our next section, which is Why United Way. This is a general overview of why we appreciate you so and the difference you make in our metro. It includes some video messages from campaign leadership. We've got one from Shauna on here. This one features a bunch of our CEO partners talking about reasons to partner. And then I also wanted to include some buttons here in case you or your team members want to learn more about some of these areas. Here you can access our new social responsibility page. So if you or your team members kind of want to learn more about what we're doing around social responsibility, please go ahead and click that and explore that. Leaders in Giving will take you to our Affinity Groups. So if you have someone interested in learning about Women United, Emerging Leaders, Tocqueville, Bridge Builders, that's all here. Our 211 helpline page explains all the different things that 211 can connect people to. So this is a great thing for your team to know about, but also could be a great resource for your employees too, depending on how they're doing right now. And then I got another page here with some more community stories, success stories, videos, all that good stuff. Our next section here is volunteer opportunities. With COVID-19, a lot of nonprofits need our community's help more than ever. Volunteering is a great way to give back and to help your team connect, whether it's virtually or in person while social distancing. So if you want to view some current opportunities and just kind of explore, please go ahead and click this button here. I'll take you to our volunteer portal. I also want to talk about Good on the Go, which is a newer volunteer opportunity that we started last year. We've worked with several of our corporate partners who really love the experience. Essentially, Good on the Go involves assembling kits or care packages for people in need in our community. We have built ways to still do these events, whether it's virtually or social distancing. So if you're interested, you want to learn more, go ahead and click these buttons and contact our Director of Volunteer Engagement, Danny. You can give her a ring. I have her email in the next section too. This is our awesome donor engagement team. They are here to support you this year. We're excited to help. We're all being challenged to think differently, to be more creative. So please just shoot them a note whenever you want to brainstorm, you have an idea, you're ready to get your campaign off the ground. They're here for you. I've included their emails, you've got their phone number. So just let us know. We'll continue to keep updating this page with new materials as we all try to adapt during this time. So we'll let you know when we add new things, when we change stuff. If you have questions about this page or where to find anything, please go ahead and enter your questions into the chat, or you can ask during our Q&A, which is coming up right about now. So I'm gonna pass it off to Patrick, Mindy, and Maureen from our donor engagement team for our Q&A session. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Kylie. Yeah, we hope that going through the campaign headquarters site really answered a lot of the questions you might have. But as Kylie just said, if you have further questions, please just hop them right in the chat and we'll try to address those. But at this time, we really do want to hear from you. So we have a few campaign managers that I'd love to call on. First up, we do have Vicki Nelson from Election Systems in Software. Vicki has really been a trailblazer for us. She, back in June, became the first campaign manager to run one of these new virtual, heavily digital campaigns. So I'd love to turn it over to her to just hear her experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've never been called a trailblazer, but it's great to hear that word. Thank you. Like all of you, March turned all of our businesses on its head. And I still remember March 16th, where we had to make a decision in about 45 minutes to send all of our employees home to work from home and to work in a way that we have never worked before. And I'm sure like all of you, March, April, May, and June, every day brought new decisions to make, brought new ways to do business, lots of unknown. So we ran our campaign in June. We run it at the end of the year. And in the past, our campaign has really been built by having people in person. We know what motivates our employees, and it's food. And so it's really hard to do food when you don't have anybody in the office anymore. So our CEO was forced to make a decision. We would continue to do a campaign or would we not? And really give him a lot of kudos for understanding the absolute mounting need for those new or newly in need, and making the decision for us to go ahead and run our campaign in June. And so with our fantastic donor campaign manager, Laura, she decided to split our campaign in two. And in June, we ran a digital campaign, an online digital campaign for all of our employees to provide or to contribute an individual contribution. We provided videos and provided a lot of information digitally about just the basic needs that the United Way supports. I think we ran a really successful campaign. We are going to be running the second half of that campaign. Like I mentioned to you guys before, good part of our campaign donations came from in-person donations from people purchasing food or food coupons or purchasing. We sold more pizzas and hot dogs. And so with Laura's help, we've translated that need into an online food week that we're going to be using the partners, Kylie, that you talked about earlier. And we're going to host a week of allowing our employees to purchase coupons or gift cards through those partners, as well as selling other food items online. So I really appreciate Laura's help figuring out how can we still keep our employees involved. And I feel that our employees were grateful for feeling like this is something that they could control, that this is something that they could have a voice in. And we got a lot of kudos for continuing to run our campaign in spite of everything that was going on this year. So that's what
Wonderful.
Our campaign looks like.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vicki. And thank you for being the first to do this for us. So during that talk, you touched on the idea of timing. Mindy, I know that you've been getting that question a few times as well. Can you just talk a little bit about, Mindy Laram, can you speak a little bit about the ideal time frame for these campaigns?
Yes, thank you, Patrick. Again, my name is Mindy Laram-Beek, and I am Director of Corporate Relations at United Way. And I have a great opportunity to run numerous campaigns throughout our community, and just wanted to thank you all for your support. As people have mentioned, we need that support now more than ever. As Patrick also mentioned, I have received several questions. Just, if people should run their campaign now in the fall when they're used to running the campaign, or if they should move it to the spring. And I am personally encouraging companies to stick with that fall timeline for various reasons. First, companies and employees are used to giving in the fall. And so if you can remain consistent with that, that helps them remain consistent with their giving. There are also many needs that need to be met now. And running campaigns now will not only allow us to address the short-term needs, but also better address the long-term needs in the community. And so if anyone is struggling to come up with ideas or wants to brainstorm ways they can still run their campaign this fall, I would encourage everyone to please reach out to that donor engagement representative. We are more than happy to help you have a successful fall campaign.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mindy. So another campaign manager we have on is Karen Spurlock from Rain and Hale. And she's been a longtime campaign manager who always comes up with really creative ideas, usually centering the campaign around a theme to continue to breathe exciting new life into their campaign. I won't steal her thunder by letting you know what their theme is this year, but I'd love to turn it over to Karen at this time.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. There's lots of mute buttons on these things nowadays. Yes, my name is Karen Spurlock, and I work for a crop insurance company. I've worked there for 32 years, and out of those 32 years, I have managed 21 campaigns for the office. Each year becomes a new challenge, but yet it's exciting because we always get new people to provide ideas. But this year is going to be even more challenging. So one thing that we always struggled with is when I would go to these workshops is we always heard about the big companies, the big budgets. And I had to go back and go, one, I don't have a budget. And if I do, it's an extremely small one. So how do I downsize that budget idea into something that I don't have? And so we had to put our creative hats on. And I have to say we've been pretty successful with that. Out of the last 4 to 5 years, we have raised between $10,000 and $12,000. That includes our corporate match, but that is with 25 employees. So we feel pretty fortunate that we get the participation. And usually I would come back from these workshops like this in person and go, where do I start? And so I guess what I would like to share with you, for those of you that are new to this, is the first thing to do is to know that you can't do it alone. You have to have a team to help you through this, because I have a team of 5, and by the end of the week, again, this is all in person that we've done in the past, is you're exhausted by the end of the week because we have so many activities. We do something every day. The second most important thing is that you get your manager support. We have a manager that is extremely supportive of United Way, and he's a bridge builder. And so he eggs people on with the games and gets involved with himself, puts up his own challenges, and that helps with getting the campaign, going and that competitiveness, I guess. The third point that I'd like to make is sometimes it's just simple as asking employee to donate, asking employee to help with this, invite them to the games. And then another point is thanking them. I'm always constantly thanking them. I put things on their desk every day, say, hey, thanks for raising the dough. And I have a friend that owns a bread company, and she makes little loaves of bread, and you put it on their desk. Again, this year will be a little bit more challenging, but we'll have to get our creative hats on and figure that out. And last but definitely not least, I think one of the most important aspects of having a campaign is to just let your hair down and have fun. It's a week. We already know that not a whole lot of production is going to be done that week, and we're okay with that for the great cause that it is for United Way. We just kind of know that we're not going to get anything done. But as he said, that we do have, we decided about 5-6 years ago that if we have themes, it's a whole lot easier to incorporate some of those games and this and that and decorations and everything into the theme. And you can have the same games every year, but we just call them something different because it goes along with the theme. And I use Google a lot. I use Pinterest a lot. We go out I've gone out to other United Ways and I've kind of stole their ideas of, you know, the campaign, the wonderful campaign ideas that you guys have out there. Even right here in the Midlands, there are other groups, I'm not sure what you call yourselves, chapters or whatever of the United Ways that have the same kind of workshop and campaign ideas. Tap into those. I have multiple campaign manager ideas saved from other areas of the United States. Again, the games that we use are very, very simple. They are minute to win it games. We go out there, we find minute to win it games, and we name them whatever it is to go along with our campaign. We charge to play the game. And then, of course, we have to keep score because our office is extremely competitive. But we give prizes at the end of the week of who has the most points for Tuesday and Wednesdays and Thursdays games. And then we have prizes. The prizes are very, very minimal. There might be a $20 gift card to Target or car washes or, well, used to be the movie theaters when we could go to the movies. But it doesn't have to be a lot. The most important thing is they're having fun. The more fun they have, the more they spend. And we have individuals in our office that don't support United Way and have verbally said that they will not support United Way. We all have our own beliefs. I understand that. I respect that. But we invite them in. We'll come in and watch. Before you know it, they have $1 pulled out and they're playing the game. So they don't want to miss out. And as he said, we have a fun one this year. I think it would be a whole lot more fun if we can do it in person, but we're going to try to do Dr. Seuss. Now, we may decide that having Dr. Seuss be in person, we may put it off till next year. I don't know. I got to get with my committee and see what we've decided to do there. Last year we had, or 2 years ago, we had what we call, our theme was fun and games. So everything was about board games. We had Chutes and Ladders and Hi-Ho Cherry-O, and, you know, just there's thousands of games out there. So we just pulled in a game and said, this is a game we want to do. What can we call it? I made life-size, giant size, I guess, is Yahtzee boards or Yahtzee dice, and they were cardboard boxes that were square, which were hard to find. And they were, you know, probably 2 feet by 2 feet. And have you ever seen an adult try to roll a giant sized dice? It's actually comical, very unpredictable, but it was fun. Again, everybody was just really enjoying themselves. So some of the things that we do throughout the week, we start the week off with the campaign. On Tuesday, we have a game in the morning and the same game in the afternoon. And then Tuesday, we have a different game. Wednesday, we have Wednesday, and then Thursday we have different games. We wrap things up on Friday, and then we always have a thank you at the very end, just to let them know that we appreciate it, whether it's $1 or $1,000 that they've donated. We don't uninvite anybody. Doesn't matter whether they contribute or not. Everybody's part of it, and so we invite everyone to our thank you lunch on Friday. Let me see if there's any other notes here that I've got. What we do is, because I don't have a budget, I kind of manage office supplies, and I use that kind of loosely when we are doing United Way. And so the office donates all the supplies needed, for whether it's the food cart in the morning or whether it's supplies to make games or whatever. And then all the proceeds that we get go back to United Way, which is sometimes our other activities raise just as much money as the donations. So we do have a lot of fun with it, but you have to get creative. It's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, good luck with your campaign. And I would be happy to help anybody. If anybody needs any assistance with ideas or how to get started, I might need to reach out to someone this year because this is going to be a challenge, but we'll make it work, and hopefully we get a good campaign out of it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karen. Next, we do have Jackie Ruberdio on from Warner Enterprises. And so with a campaign like Warner, a huge campaign with a lot of different locations and all the logistics that go along with trucking, there's clearly a lot of planning that goes into that campaign. And every year she comes up with new ideas to reach more people, to get more done. It's really been fantastic. So Jackie, I'd love for you to just speak a little bit about your experience as a campaign manager.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here today. I too, like our last couple campaign managers, a lot of in-person events during our campaign that include food and games and stuff like that. So last year we did a major refresh of our campaign, and some of the things that we implemented, we built a platform for an online auction, and we included our drivers, all of our offsite associates, as well as anyone here in Omaha. So we'll definitely be utilizing that again this year, and hoping for more larger auction items. How we get our auction items and raffle prizes. So we usually have 4 big lunch/raffle events. We do like an ice cream sundae day, things like that. So I reach out to all of our associate directors and above in the company and ask them to get with any of their vendors, any of their friends, if they've got cool stuff laying around their office or sports memorabilia, whatever, give it so that I can raffle it off or auction it. So that's kind of around that budget piece with having to buy things for the campaign to raffle off or auction. Last year, with our first online silent auction, we did about 6,000. And then with the company match, that makes 12. So that was exciting. We also did a change drive. Our campaign lasted 3 weeks last year. So we did a change drive and ran it the whole entire time. And the winners received a full month of casual days that we picked out of, I think we did December for them. And then the loser had to go around and sing holiday tunes. Well, so things got kind of crazy and then COVID hit. So what we're going to do instead of that is we're going to have the losing department do like a Zoom. I don't know if you've seen them, like the Zoom singing online where they'll do like instruments. So the losers were the mechanics group. So we're thinking maybe we could do like a COVID song, like Don't Stand So Close to Me, and they could do like use some of their tools as like fun instruments, whatever. And so we're going to use that as part of our kickoff. And in that change challenge last year, we made over $6,000 just in change. And so again, with the company match, there's another 6 there. As far as food goes, that's out. We've got half of our headquarters staff working from home. We normally have close to 1,400 folks here just at headquarters. So I'm going to try to figure out some fun things to do to include everybody, of course. Maybe some online games, like someone mentioned an online bingo game. And some chats I was having, online events. We were thinking about doing a pie in the face. We did pie in the face last year, and it was extremely hilarious and raised quite a bit of money, and it was executives. So your team, your department paid so much to vote for who you wanted to get the pie. So we figured we could socially distance and throw pies. So maybe we'll try that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting on to the site at the campaign headquarters and seeing all the virtual ideas on there and hearing more of what our campaign managers are planning on doing. And I love hearing from all of you and seeing all of you. So good luck with your campaigns this year.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you to Patrick, Mindy, and Maureen, and the donor engagement team. Thank you, Clark and Emily, for joining us, and the First National Bank team. Thank you to all of you for joining, and to our guest speakers, and to the organizations that provided videos. They were very helpful this year. So as a follow-up to the webinar, and we'll quickly wrap this up today, you will be receiving an email, so please be on the lookout for that, because in that email, there will be links to the Campaign HQ and to the recording of this webinar. We'll also provide a link to a short survey. So we hope that you would take a little bit of time and fill that out. That just helps inform us and make sure that what we're providing you is helpful, and if there's anything that we should take into consideration as we prepare for our last webinar, which is on September 17th. So if you have anybody in your organization that you think would benefit from this, we would really encourage you to forward that registration link to them and have them sign up. And also in the email, you'll have a link to upcoming events. So we hope that a lot of you, or all of you, will join us next Thursday at 9 a.m. as we kick off our campaign year. We will, you'll get to hear firsthand from some of our neighbors in our community who have been impacted by COVID. And we also have a special guest speaker, Coach McDermott. We're partnering with First National Bank on 2 events. So on the 28th, the day after our campaign kickoff, we'll be showing the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, which is going to tee up our event on September 23rd, where we have a special guest speaker that we'll be bringing virtually to our community. So both of those events and our kickoff are really just an opportunity to hear firsthand, but also just rich and inspiring. So we hope that you will join us and share with your friends and family. And then also, as we just wrap up, I just want to commend all of you and just say, you guys are all truly superheroes. Not only are you talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. You're fundraising, you're speaking on behalf of United Way, and you're coordinating and you're managing and participating in special events, all the while raising a lot of money for our community and for those who need a helping hand. We truly are grateful and so humbled by what each of your organizations do and raise. And so as we gear up for this campaign year, we really need all of you more than ever to help continue to make our community strong. So with that, thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.